Okay, hello everyone. It's another episode of It's in Your Hands. It's July 1st, and we've been in what they call lockdown, what I prefer to say is stay home, COVID, whatever it's called, for a while. For some people, it's been since December, maybe it's like 5 months, 6 months, 4 months, whatever it is. A lot has happened. Our lives definitely have shifted, whether we like it or not. We've learned to do things differently. There's a lot of stuff that has happened. Some of us have lost people we love. Just a lot has happened. And I believe now it's time to take a look at our lessons and what I call integrating this COVID experience. Today I have the amazing, the wonderful, my friend and my coach, Rania Laing, and she will be speaking with us on this today. I just want to say a couple of words on who Rania is. By now you probably know who she is. Rania, first of all, is a neuro coach. She's also the founder and CEO of PI, and PI is the non-profit society which is called Purposeful Innovators. She'll probably tell you a little bit more about that. But they are here to make a positive impact and to help people apply science to improve the things in their life, to improve their lives using scientific methods. Hello, Rania, and welcome.
Hello, Myrette. Thank you for having me again.
Can you tell us a little bit about you that I might have missed? Anything you want to share?
No, you do such a good job of your introductions. I absolutely love it, and I love coming on your show. Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of PI. PI is a non-profit society set up to share our wisdom, if you like, share our research and our wisdom in how people can create a positive impact. And by understanding the science and the research, we actually work to a positive impact model based on our research that helps people have a roadmap, and they can apply very specific skills and start learning how to create a positive impact. That positive impact is actually a prosperity position versus what we call a debt position. So it has a direct impact on commercials, it has a direct impact on behavior, and for organizations, the impact of a product or a service that they offer in the market. So yeah, we do get very scientific, it's very concrete. Our findings are our actually founding directors work in wealth management, bank management, educational, adult education areas, to everybody, individuals, organizations, government departments, understand how simple it is to create prosperity and be in a profit position rather than the debt position that they believe they're in.
Wow, this fits beautifully into what we're talking about. I believe everything happens at the right time. And the concepts you just explained fit beautifully with integrating the lessons for me with COVID. I also love the idea that you are focusing so much on science, because there are so many people who will not resonate if there's no science in it. I know you're an expert in neurolinguistic.
I'm one of them. I'm one of those people.
I know some others. I've also looked for science, but I'm also able to accept the non-science. But when I find the science, it makes me feel more comfortable. It's the way we were brought up. So I know you're an expert in neurolinguistic programming. I know you understand energy healing very well. I know you understand the unseen and unexplained right now, but you're making sure that your models are going to be addressing using science so that more people can get on the wagon, as we say. So that's really, really amazing. So as I feel your work is so fitting, and I know you for a long time now, and I know how you're thinking, I'd really like to get your perspective and what lesson, we've had our lessons. How do you think people can really benefit right now from what has happened, from this? I think it's an amazing experience, the whole world. And I don't think we, in our memory or our past, I don't know how many years, thousands maybe, that we've all, the whole world, experienced one experience together.
I think there's definitely a very powerful aspect to the experience that we're all having, because it is a collective experience. And to use our model, anything that happens for the collective actually generates a broader impact overall. Now, that's a perspective principle that we can apply to what's been happening at the moment, that I can relate to somebody, I'm in the Middle East, but I can relate to somebody who's now experiencing this in Brazil. We're able to, on a country level, monitor trends and decide our reactions by learning from each other in different countries across the world. We are able to make decisions as a collective that we can bring into our locality. And this, I think, has been something that we have never seen before. In our preparation chats, we were saying it hasn't even happened in the war. It wasn't like that in the war. It was more black and white, which side are you on? Whereas now is like, okay, this is right for you, is this right for me? And I think that's a very modern perspective to take. And it's something that we've never seen before, that has been something that has united the globe. Where I think what I'm seeing, where it can be a helpful starting point to come to terms, and I think, again, talking about integration, what do we mean by integration? Because your definition of integration may be different to mine. So it's useful, I think, for the audience to understand that we may mean the same thing, we may say it differently. And there's something that creates a lot of misunderstandings between people. So when we say integration, is it coming to terms with what's happened, being able to move forward with what's happened? What would you say for you, Myrette? What would integration be?
Yeah, for me, and you brought up something very, very interesting, because when I started asking people to be interviewed and to talk about integration, that was a question, like, what do you mean? Or they didn't get it. Or they said they don't want to talk because they didn't really get what I meant. So I do understand everybody will have their own definition. And this is something good to bring up right now, like we were talking before we started recording. For me, when I thought about integration, like my mind says, how can I use what I've learned? So like all this stuff happened, and now I need to sit down and figure out, what did I learn, or what happened that I coped with or managed that I never thought was possible? And now how can I, for me, integration is bringing it really inside. Like it's now part of me. It's no longer outside of me. So let me give you a really concrete example. I did use Zoom before, and I did want to use Zoom more for more work, but it was sort of outside of me. Like, oh yeah, when I'm stuck, I'll do a Zoom because they're abroad. I need to do a session for someone. But when we started using Zoom more, it became more integrated in me. And I actually went and took a course a little bit on Zoom to be a little bit better at it, so that I can really, really now make it part of my life. So I'm integrating using of that, and I'm integrating other things too. So in my mind, it's understanding it, stopping, understanding it, and further than that, actually making it part of my new life moving forward. That's my definition.
So actually aligned to how we learn and form positive connections in our neural pathways. The process is very much reflecting or having an opportunity to understand the meaning of something. Why is this important? Why is this experience? What does this experience mean in my life? And at this point, a lot of people get quite stuck because they flip into a negative self-criticism of sorts at that point. So generally with neural pathways, what we do see is with regards to when you're applying the brain-based coaching philosophy, people flip out of learning and into a negative state, into a deck position. That's what we call it's a deck position, ultimately has a negative impact. So applying that then to staying in a positive position, when you can reflect on something that seems to be a negative situation, but understand the positives of how you have, like you say, integrated, benefited, the importance of it. And the benefits that you give in your example of using Zoom, for example, that was supported by organizations that had to improve their technology to drive a better service so that you can integrate it better. So there's a whole complex system that is connected to organizations also doing a better product or improving their product. So now we're talking about improvement, product improvements, skill improvements. I'm learning how to do things better. I'm realizing the benefits of this product. Others moved on to other platforms, and that was right for them. So what we are looking at is a healthy pattern. And that's the most important thing. Moving into a healthy pattern rather than resistance means that you can combine those benefits into how you're working and level up your work and the impact on how you deliver that work to maintain that sustainability of the experience that we have all gone through together. And that's really breaking it down into some very kind of specific threads. That becomes really important to do in any situation that we're encountering for the first time. And that's why I really love applying the neuroscience with coaching, because what that enables us to do is replicate the pattern. When we know what it is, we can replicate it and do it again and again and again. So what we work to with Pi is actually specifying what the steps are. So we can actually give you a step-by-step, that we've got 25 steps in our criteria that when you continue to do, and it's a continuous process, you will continue to improve. And that's an infinite place. You don't ever reach the end of your learning, and you can continue improving on everything that you're doing, despite what you perceive may be a negative situation or experience. To be able to extract that positive and be able to know how to take action to improve yourself and have a positive impact on those around you gets you on that track to sustainable, healthy mind, body, and spirit.
Right. As you spoke, I was thinking of something like, will it always be to our benefit? Because I'm thinking, maybe we integrate something because of the new world, the new situation. But by integrating it, like we're more accepting it, and it is the way it is now. So I'm just wondering, will it always be a benefit, or could it be just that we have to be adaptable and more flexible and just embody, maybe embody is another word for integrate, embody whatever is new way of doing things. Could it be that way too?
Is that not a benefit?
It's a benefit that you're flexible and you're doing it, but maybe it is not an improvement. I'm not sure. I'm actually thinking out loud with you. Is it actually an improvement on the way I was doing things, or just that I've become more flexible because of the way the world has changed?
So there's one of the laws of cybernetics is that the most flexible part of the system actually dictates the system. So for flexibility as a leadership skill, flexibility, which is not going back on your values, that's very, very different. Having boundaries, still maintaining your boundaries, but being flexible is about accommodating, tolerating, understanding that the response ability to any given situation and adjusting yourself is a very powerful skill to have. And it's a very positive skill to have.
So yeah, now that you've said that, so my mind is now saying yes. In integrating, going back to that word, in integrating, you are being flexible enough to find a way to bring that into your life in a way that works for you. So maybe that's
absolutely
something to
and in a beneficial way, in a positive way that's healthy. And that's really important, because the resistance creates that stress factor. So resisting the future as it's happening is creating a stress factor, whereas responding to it without the negativity without the stress. Lots of people will go from I don't understand to anger, which is, as we know, connected with fear. So being able to have the self-awareness to respond positively, and reflection is a positive response. Sometimes we don't know yet, and it's okay. You know, it's okay. It's fine. Being patient is okay. Having the lack of impulsiveness and urgency to take action, to be able to allow an appropriate response to emerge, that's taking responsibility. You're having the ability to respond in a way that is healthy to any given situation.
Okay, there's a word that caught my my attention, and the word is allow. And I don't know why it's been coming up a lot for me these days, the word allow. Even this morning I was doing my own personal work and my own tapping and journaling, and the word allow came up. So I think we could maybe if you can just say a few words about how the allowing will help in integrating or bringing, let's say, the benefits of what we've been through into moving forward. This is what this is all about. So as you just said, not resisting, but allowing. But if you can just elaborate a bit to make it easier for people who aren't speaking 100% this language to get, so what do I do? What do I need to do or think about?
I think it's a powerful point that you make on the word allow. Allow is, for me, and what we found in our research, allowing gives space, it gives patience, it includes respecting that there's things that are outside of you, so there's things that you can't control. It's been a very intricate part of the current situation because we have had to, as a global society, allow whatever it is that is, you know, a virus spreading, or the impact of that virus, it's spreading in a way that no one's in control. The only thing that you can do is allow it to happen. And what's happening, well, typically there's been a lot of frustration, there's been a lot of misunderstanding, negativity that moves media, sells media, opens more clicks. Allowing whatever it is, and again, it's not, for me, always humans can develop and improve how they deal with negativity. It's been a mirror and an opportunity to self-reflect on one's the relationship between a stimulus or an event and the reaction that I choose to make for that, and how that affects the people around me. As we've all gone through that, some have had greater extent to their impulses, actions, self-laboring, you know, whatever it is, internalizing a behavior or an expectation due to an external event. And this is where it's not healthy. So to be able to find peace internally, whatever the external event, this is the healthy position that we can strive to establish. And it has been an opportunity for many people to practice it. And when we say practice, it's that destination we never arrive. We wake up every morning, something may happen, it may trigger us, we need to practice it again. It's a practicing. Allowing is a practicing. It's allowing others to be different, allowing negativity to occur, allowing it to peter out. It's that space between you and whatever it is external to you that enables you to stay in a healthy position.
allowing the world to change, allowing
There
the
you go.
systems to change. I'm just thinking of all the allowing, and it's actually allowing. And there are a lot of people who have a lot of resistance. I understand that. And maybe that is something we can advise to stop and sit and think, what am I not allowing? And I'm really now into journaling, and it's done wonders for me. And I'm committed to doing my journaling in the morning and just try to keep it sort of sometimes systematic and sometimes whatever comes up. And what comes down on paper will amaze you. And then I personally just make circles and a lot of words. I either tap on them or I decide to write more on them the next day, because I do the time limit how much I can spend on my journaling. So I'm thinking of allowing, and you said something very important for me at least, and that might also be important to others too, because we're bringing it up into the awareness, which is patience. You said we need to have patience to allow whatever's going on. I also felt the word surrender should be brought in here, and integration. Surrendering to what is, actually, and you talked about inner peace. So actually surrendering and saying, allowing what is to be it is, because there's nothing we can control, as you said, and also surrendering that that's the facts, not always fighting why. And I personally, sorry, I'm going to continue. I think some of the people I know who are really, really having a hard time with this period are the ones that are not accepting or patient or surrendering, and they're just like, why, or when will it be over? They're not at all into any space of allowing what is to just develop the way it needs to develop. I'd like to hear your comments on that.
That resistance comes in relationships with others. So when you don't allow that other people are on their own track, if you like, your expectations of what they should do starts interrupting your place of being okay. They didn't do that, and it's always a time factor to it. The impatience that things have to happen at the time that is right for me, and that doesn't allow others to go through their reflection, their learning, understanding the meaning for themselves. And actually, you know, that the impatience, and there's a science behind this, impatience creates dysfunction. And we have unraveled the science behind that. We work with organizations for leaders to have the patience to achieve functionality properly. And often the impatience creates so much disturbance that they can't get into that profit position. It actually halts them both commercially and in creating that positive impact for their employees, their customers. And can't deliver in our relationships a lot with what our expectations of others.
I was thinking also allowing whatever's going on earth, whatever's going on, just allowing that. I was thinking about allowing the earth to go through whatever it needs to go through, allowing on a general basis. So I want to bring this back to the person, the individual. So what can they do to help themselves integrate what happened? Like, what steps can they take? What do you suggest they can do to at least come out with some benefit from what has happened to them in this period?
I think with regards to first step of reflection, I think forgiveness is a good one. When we're looking at topics, it's helpful if you're not used to journaling or you're not used to meditating and you're thinking, you know, I've been really frustrated. This has been a nightmare for my family. Where do I go from here? Because I'm stuck. And we talk about stuck with clients come to us, they're stuck. Forgiveness is really important. It's the first step of what we call in our system spiritual intelligence. Forgiving that event happened. Forgiving that there was a negative consequence in your perspective that event is. Forgiving that you can't see the benefits of it yet. I think it's really, really powerful to understand that, you know, forgiving yourself for maybe not reacting the way that you wished or knew you could, or that something, you know, is that the forgiveness lets you let go of the past. You're giving the future back to yourself. And from there, you can start evaluating how the future can be more beneficial to you, and start integrating. By holding on to the negativity, both in yourself and others, it's going to anchor you back. It's going to be very difficult to move into the integration and the beneficial stages of, you know, improving your business or improving your relationships with your family, with your friends, and moving forward. And I think that aspect it's always really helpful having one concept that you can reflect on, write about, research. There's lots of, one thing that has been a huge benefit from the global community going through this at the same time is the amount of resources that are being generated across the world that's helping people at the moment. We have so much information available that relates and is relevant to all of us right now at this point in time. So I think that's a useful, if you like, investigation on, I would say, you know, what is the position one has on forgiveness? What can you forgive? What can you not forgive? And then once you have that forgiveness, you can move into allowing. So it's an interesting space, I think, to have a focus that can help you start taking those little mini micro change steps into moving forward.
It's amazing what you just offered. It's really profound. It's very powerful. Allow yourself, and what are you going to allow, and when are you going to allow yourself to forgive yourself if you think you didn't behave or didn't get what you want out of it. And then I believe the next step after that would be to allow yourself to let the lessons seep in, to bring them into your body, to bring them into your mind, to bring them into your life, to actually take action using them. So I think today we could use the word allowing more than even integration, and add forgiveness to start, because it's very powerful that you brought that in as an element. I hadn't thought about it. That forgiveness and then allowing to move forward. Because you're right, you said people do come, they're stuck, and they're stuck because they're not allowing themselves even to move forward. Well, Rania, do you have any last words you'd like to add to this? We could go for hours. We've actually been an hour talking, but I know we could go for hours on this topic. Is there anything else you'd like to add as last words in this?
Actually, I'm really good. Thank you very much once again for the opportunity, and for hearing me. You know, when you're passionate about what you do, it's that any opportunity to talk about my favorite subject is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much.
I always like talking with you. There's a lot to share. You share so much. You have your own perspective on things. You're very well read. You're very well educated, and you have your energetic help. You're enlightened is what I call it. So it's good for people to at least listen. I would listen to this once or twice if it was me, and see what resonates, what comes to me. And then I would use a journal. That's what I've been using lately, and it's really helped. I've been using it for years, but I'm more serious about it now. And as Rania said, look at the forgiveness, allow yourself, actually reflect about what has happened and how you felt about it, how your emotions towards it, what was going on in your mind, your thoughts about it, and then start to integrate all this into your benefit, as she said. I thank you very much, Rania, and that this is definitely one of many interviews. We always learn so much from you, and people always send me and say, we love the interview, we learned so much, we are listening several times, they're sharing. So thank you so much, until we meet again.